Good morning, goddesses. How we doing? Happy Thursday. Today is January the 7th. We are already a whole week into the new year, so that's really, really cool. So welcome to the Sexy Sunrise Show. My name is Bianca Adelia. I have been a professional boudoir photographer for almost 6 years, and I take this time every single morning to stop patterns that don't support self-love. I wake up my big goddess energy. I set an intention for the type of woman I want to be that day, and I just share this journey with you. So here we are. How are we doing? Good morning, Serena, my favorite soul sister ever. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We've got big things happening tomorrow. We've got big things happening today, and I feel like I always kind of incorporate like my own emotions. My emotions are very strong, but I feel like I have a pretty good perception of things. And I was taking a look at, my sister loves sending me TikTok videos, loves it. My sister loves TikTok. I feel like that's like her platform that she's kind of, latched onto. So she's always sending me videos. And you guys that have been watching me for a while, I'm a big people watcher. I learn about myself through other people. I'm very fascinated with human behavior, and I've always been very fascinated with psychology, astrology, all that kind of stuff. Not so much in being a psychologist or anything like that, but these kind of things fascinate me. I don't really want to go into work with it, but it's very fascinating to me. I could sit for hours studying this stuff. But she sends me these TikTok videos, and I'm watching the patterns of the world, and I'm watching things kind of reveal, and I'm watching the way that I believe people's thought patterns are being manipulated by social media. And this is not in a controversial way. This is in back in the day when we as humans literally had to adapt to an environment to survive. And I'm very fascinated with this because I grew up military brat. My stepfather was in the Army. And this was before internet. This was before social media. So every time I moved somewhere, whether it was Germany or I've lived in Texas, I've lived in South Carolina, I've lived in Alabama, I was born in Florida, and every single place, like the entire cultural environment, the entire behavioral patterns of people, the way people spoke, all these things, everything was always different. And since we only stayed in a place for about 3 years, I always found myself kind of adapting and learning this new environment in order to like make friends or, whatever. And I'm watching as the cultural environment shifts into this one place, since we have internet and TikTok and all this stuff. And I just see how much people are being influenced by the things that they see every single day. And I feel like it's an unconscious thing, but I do notice that it's happening. I notice even in videos that are supposed to be funny, like the video my sister sent me was this girl, and I guess she saw somebody else on TikTok cut open her bra and like take the padding out of it, and it was like nice and lacy and stuff, and she kept doing this. And I noticed that that's like a thing that's trending now, are these like mannerisms that you often see, and everyone just kind of locks onto it. And then like the eyebrow thing and stuff like that. And it integrates into the personality of people. And I just think it's fascinating because it's not the true identity of that person, but we just take on these like manipulations and stuff like that from the environment around us, and then we just become so clouded, and we look back and we don't even recognize ourselves because we've been latching on to all these patterns. And this has a lot to do with what's today. It always does. Like this happened before I was jumping into the Astro chat, or before I was jumping into my research and stuff like that, and I was like, however I feel that morning is literally the message that comes out of it. So let's go ahead and hop into the astro forecast for today. And then my intention and the card pull today was exactly connected. It's so insane. But today what we're going to see, Mars transitioned into Taurus yesterday. Hold on, let me put up my little banner. Yes, Serena, right? Okay, so boop, boop, there we go. I love my little forecast banner. All right, so let's check everything out. Sun is still in Capricorn, Moon is still in Libra, Mercury is still in Capricorn, Venus is still in Sagittarius for now. Mars transitioned into Taurus yesterday around 8 p.m. Central Time. This stuff is super important. We're going to be moving, Mercury and Venus are going to be switching signs tomorrow, and I'm going to talk all about that. But today, let's focus on Mars, because Mars has been in Aries, and this was giving us kind of this ability to stand up for ourselves, or kind of like look out for our self-love. It was giving us this assertive action to kind of like seek the things that we like, just seek new things about ourselves, and a new way in which we can start showing up as women, and things like that. So with Mars transitioning into Taurus, and again, I'm going to get on my soapbox for this one because I am a sun sign Taurus. I'm very partial to Tauruses. And there was this lady that I was following on YouTube. She is an intuitive tarot reader. She's somebody I was very, very fascinated for a long time. Her YouTube channel is High Vibrations. She's a Taurus Pisces. So every time she said anything, I resonated every single time. She does more on like love readings and stuff like that now, so I haven't watched her in a while. But she wrapped up Taurus energy in the best way possible. And basically she was talking about how she was doing readings for people and things like that. And then some people would just be like on her back, like, do you have my reading yet? Do you have my reading yet? Do you have my reading yet? And especially with like an intuitive type business, you have, like, the intuitive reader has to wait for like the messages to come. And she was like, and if you're dealing with a Taurus, if you're somebody who doesn't click with Taurus energy, I am so sorry. That is going to be the energy of today. But Taurus is pretty much like if you're on their back or something. I actually had my own experience with this. But if you're like asking them for something, or you're trying to rush them, what a Taurus is going to do, they are going to take that project, they are going to set it down in the corner, and they're going to walk away and not do it. Like, that is Taurus energy. Like, you can't move a Taurus. Taurus will go, but a Taurus will go when they want to go. So, yeah, the same thing happened to me. I did this free session, this free boudoir thing, and it was a group thing. And right after the session, like the very next day, I started getting hounded for the pictures and stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you, it's been a year and I did not do those pictures. I have not done them. And I'm really big on like being in the right energy when I edit pictures too. But that's Taurus energy. We're super stubborn, but we also analyze lots of things. So let's talk about what Mars in Taurus means in this kind of way. So Mars in Taurus, this can be really frustrating energy, because we've been talking about planning. We've been talking about creating flexible plans for, I don't even know how long. I've been saying this every single day. Make plans, but make them flexible. So with Mars and Taurus, what's going to happen is a Taurus doesn't want to move until they're ready to move. And this can come in handy in a sense of analyzing all the parts. So Taurus sign people usually catch a bad rap for being super stubborn, and it's not for the sake of being stubborn. So if a Taurus creates a plan and like they say this is the plan, they're stubborn about it because they have already analyzed every possible route, every possible opportunity, every other possible moving part of this thing. So when people think that they're stubborn, it's not for the sake of being stubborn and being immovable. It's because all the other moving parts have already been considered, and this is the conclusion that was drawn from all of that analytical process. So the part that's going to come into play here is that the moon is in opposition to Mars. So Mars is now in Taurus. We know Tauruses don't want to move until they're ready to move. So this can look like lots of like consideration before you're actually taking an action or before taking a plan. But the moon is still in Libra as of right now. So with Libra energy, you're very open to your environment. Libra's like harmony. Libra's like everybody to have a great time. Libras are very sociable. So with that openness to the environment, you might feel like there's there's so much considerations coming through when you're trying to create these new plans for the new year and things like that. And with that energy being in Taurus, you might feel like you're considering all these things, and maybe you feel like you have a plan, but that energy is not ready to move yet. So maybe you might feel like there's lots of pressure building up and things like that, and you might find yourself really frustrated when that energy is not wanting to move. And that can simply mean, and I kind of talked about this a couple days ago, but it could mean that you haven't extracted the thing yet that you need from this plan that you're making, this plan that you're considering. You haven't extracted the thing yet. And when I say the thing, like, we know what the thing is. Like, whenever we have a concrete idea, whenever something really makes sense and we know our next move, like, there's a thing that happens, and I can't really explain it, but I feel like you know what I'm talking about. So we're going to see lots of stuff there. And the big thing today is being really, really mindful of our ego, and being really, really mindful of the things that we're taking in from our environment that might not in fact be our stuff, might not in fact be our ideas, or even our emotions. So be really mindful when you're around people who are feeling intense emotions. And if you start feeling the same type of way, make sure it's because you feel that type of way. It's not because you've been open to the energy of that other person or the other ideas or things like that. We take in so much more than we think. Like, energy literally rules the world. So big ego stuff. This can also be in what you think you deserve based on your childhood, what you were told. An example of this might be like someone who grew up in a prestigious family, and so they just think that they deserve something because they grew up in this family, and that's the family name, and that's what the family name is known for, so this is what you have to do too, or this is what you deserve also, without putting in the work. So that can kind of be the energy today also, is like feeling like you deserve something, but maybe you haven't put in the work and everything. So that actually pulls us right into our tarot card today. So let's take a look. Let's take this down. Okay, so we have the Conqueror of Wands, and I just think it's so funny that I always draw everything in reverse, and I have shuffled the heck out of these cards. I have laid them all out and like put my hands all over them and all kinds of stuff, and for some reason I always draw them in reverse. So let's take a look really quick with the card not in reverse. Let's look at all the stuff that are going on here. We have the Conqueror of Wands. So just like yesterday, Wands has a lot to do with like assertive action, things like that. We see the wand is on fire, so this is like the fire element. This is initiative, things like that. And then we have a snake. I was really drawn to this snake. I've been like seeing reptiles a lot, like not seeing reptiles a lot, you know, seeing them the same amount of time, but I'm being a lot more receptive of when I'm seeing reptiles. And usually that means times of like transformation, times of shedding. Reptilian energy is very transformative. So it was fascinating that the snake is in here. So we've got the snake. This has a lot to do with like focus, determination, intentional movement. And then we have the arrows here, which would represent like swiftness, like swift action and intentional. So kind of like if you've ever seen the Disney movie Brave, I feel like she would kind of capture the energy of today, like very like concentrated and swift. And this is, as the Conqueror of Wands, this would be the Knight of Wands in the normal tarot deck. So let's take a look at what this would kind of mean in reverse. So since this card would have a lot to do with like very focused energy, very assertive energy, things like that, with it being in reverse, that is that Taurus energy of really considering all possible outcomes and things like that before you actually make your move. So let's take a look here, make sure I don't miss anything. So yeah, that pent up energy that I was talking about with delays in your creative energy, not being able to do the thing yet that you want to do, that's that Taurus and Mars energy today. That's that frustration because that energy is there, that pressure is there, but we can't really release it yet. So one thing that you could do if you're feeling very pressured, you feel a lot of that energy kind of like sitting there, is go do something else. Go take a walk. Like take your mind off of it for a minute. So when you come back to finish out your plan or finish out whatever it is that you're working on, you'll have fresh energy and you'll be able to see it from a whole new perspective. So Conqueror of Wands is, let me get that off of there, is the energy of today. Super, super fascinating. Love it, love it, love it. And that brings me to my intention for the day. And I love setting this with you because it's kind of like my declaration to the universe. And being able to share that with you is really, really special to me. So my intention for the type of woman I want to show up as in the world today is a woman who thinks for herself. And when I am feeling something or I feel the pressure to carry out a certain responsibility or something like that, I want to make sure that it's me doing it. I'm not going to dive into it too deeply, but I do like to be transparent in a sense of like, you know who you're talking to, and I like people to see who I really am. And I feel like this kind of energy plays very, very big in the political environment. I feel like a lot of things, social media psychology was used in persuading people that they had certain responsibilities or that things were this way when we don't have all the context for things and stuff like that. We saw a lot of that in 2020. And I do believe the whole social media environment, this whole thing was an experiment, and it definitely worked for the elections because I feel like the majority of people do not think for themselves. I feel like if someone hears something 6 times, just like in business psychology, if somebody hears something 6 times, they take it on as their own truth. And I am here saying this on this platform to hopefully create a ripple where people are intrigued by their own truths and stop taking so much stock into things that other people are saying. Literally, the social media environment is like, it can be so constructive. It can be such a tool for amazing things, but I often see it. Like I see it. And I don't know how to explain how I see it, but I just see it. And I study human behavior like naturally. It's just something that comes naturally to me. So please be a person who thinks for themselves. Please be a person who questions the things that you have to say before you say them and the way that you react to certain situations. And if these things are in fact true to yourself, that is amazing and that is your purpose, and we're all here to learn from each other. But just make sure it is in fact from your soul. Like make sure like you're not doing something because somebody told you to do it or somebody else looks cool and so you do it. We're all so beautiful in our own unique way, and we just stomp it out whenever we start taking on all this outside environment. So be aware of that. Take the lessons from your environment and then leave the lessons that don't work for you. You don't have to take everything in. But that's kind of like my rant / message today. I'm going to be a woman who thinks for myself and questions the things that I think and why do I think them. And that's the show for today. That's the Sexy Sunrise Show. If you're still on here, thank you so much. I love you. I'm sending you so much love. And I believe in the woman you're meant to be, the woman you're going to be today, and the woman you're going to be tomorrow. Bye.